Good afternoon, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kamila Aisyah Putri, and I am student at the State University of Surabaya with student ID 295. Today, I will present my result of my research, which title Dramatization Strategy of Lifestyle Influencer Content in Instagram's Exclusive Features, a case study on the perception of students in Indonesia. This research was conducted as part of my final exams for the research methodology course, and I hope this can offer a new perspective on influencer marketing and digital behavior among students. Here is the flow of today's presentations. We will go through three main chapters. Chapter 1 is background, problem formulation, and hypothesis. Chapter 2, literature review and previous studies. Chapter 3, research methodologies. And each section will help us understand the relationship between influencer strategies on Instagram and how students perceive and respond to this content. Let's begin with the background. Instagram continues to develop its features, one of which is the exclusive content features. This allows influencers to offer paid content that only subscribed followers can see. These features has created a new dynamic in the way people consume digital content. Many lifestyle influencers, or what we call everyday celebrities, use dramatization strategies in this content, often through emotional storytelling, exaggerated reaction, or even hyper-curated visual. Now, students become a very strategic target group because they spend a lot of time online actively engaging with content. However, there's still a gap in research and how students perceive, analyze, and respond to this kind of exclusive and dramatized content, especially in terms of digital literacy and their willingness to subscribe. This research aims to fill the gap. Based on that background, I formulated the following research problem. First one is, what is the perception of Indonesian students toward the exclusive content presented by lifestyle influencers on Instagram? Second one is, how do students perceive the dramatization strategies used by influencers in the content? The last one is, what factors influence students' interest in subscribing to that exclusive content? This research does not only analyze content and strategy, but also how audience, in this case, students evaluate and respond to it. Although this is qualitative and exploratory research, I still propose an initial hypothesis. The hypothesis is that dramatization strategies such as visual exaggeration, emotional storytelling, and curated narratives can influence students' perception and their interest in subscribing. But this effect doesn't happen in isolation. It is likely moderated by student digital literacy. Students with high digital literacy are more critical. They can distinguish authentic content from fabricated or manipulative content. Meanwhile, those with lower digital literacy may be more easily influenced or emotionally drawn into this dramatization. In short, dramatization influences students' behavior, but how strong the influence is depends on their digital awareness. Moving on to the literature review, I explored two main themes. The first one is paid celebrity and social media content. Paid content creates a symbolic value. It makes audience feel closer to the celebrities and motivates them to pay for that intimacy. The second one is dramatization and digital consumer behavior. Dramatization strengthens emotional bonds. to increase that feeling of urgency and exclusivity. The psychological factors like FOMO, the fear of missing out, also play a role in encouraging people to subscribe this feature. These theories helps explain how influencers craft their content and how audiences might emotionally respond to it. There have been many studies on influencer marketing. For example, from Jafarova and Rusworth examine how influencers affect purchase intention, and there's Wu and Yuan studied how source credibility and content quality determine influencer effectiveness. However, most of these studies focus on brand endorsement and use quantitative methods. This study is different because it focuses on exclusive content, uses a qualitative case study approach, and examines the perception and decision making of students in digital space. This research used a qualitative-based approach. The goal is not to measure behaviors in numbers, but to understand the personal experience and subjective meanings behind students' responses. I use Miles and Huberman's models for data analysis, which includes data reduction, data display, and conclusion drawing. By using this model, I can systematically analyze open-ended responses and identify meaningful patterns. The population of these studies includes Indonesian students aged 18 to 24. This group is ideal because they actively use Instagram and are exposed to influencer content. For example, I use purpose sampling, meaning I only selected participants who are aware of or have followed content using the exclusive features. This ensures that responses are relevant and come from people with first-hand experience. The data comes from open-ended questionnaires. Some questionnaires are close-ended to gather basic usage data, such as how often they use the features or what kind of content they like. Other questions are open-ended and explore students' thoughts, motivation, and critiques of the content. This mixed formats always allows me to combine descriptive insight with deeper thematic analysis. To guide the data collection, I developed two instruments: a questionnaire guideline that looks at dramatization elements such as visual, emotion, and storytelling. The second one is an observation checklist to help identify recurring patterns and in how dramatized content is delivered. This helps maintain consistency when analyzing responses. Data collection was done through Google Forms. I distributed the form via campus social media groups, students' communities, and even influencers' fan networks. This method is efficient and helps reach a wide yet relevant student audience. I use two types of analysis. The first one is thematic analysis based on Brown and Clark's models to identify key patterns in students' open-ended responses. And the second one is descriptive analysis to summarize close-ended questions in the form of percentage and frequency tables. These two approaches give both qualitative depth and quantitative context to the data. To summarize, this research explores how dramatization strategy by lifestyles influencers affect students' perception, literacy, and interest in subscribing to exclusive content on Instagram. The findings might help us understand not just the influencer audience dynamic, but also the role of digital literacy in filtering media messages. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'm Kamila and see you next time.